Kefalonia and Cos are not just geographical names. For Italian history, they are synonymous with tragedy and barbarism perpetrated in the aftermath of the Italian Anglo-American armistice. They demonstrate what militaristic fate and blind obedience can push. One of the darkest episodes of the war, by these words, George Duncan's Massacres and Atrocity of World War II, depicts the famous massacre that occurred in Kefalonia in September 1943. Very few know, instead, what happened in the Dodecanese island of Kos, called the Little Kefalonia, regarding the number of Italian army officers killed after they had surrendered. In Kos, in Aliki, 103 out of 148 were machine-gunned. 83 of them were under the age of 28. In Kefalonia, 390 out of 525 were shot. Their fault was to keep faith with their flag. Once again, the Wehrmacht stained its honors with an indelible shame. The two islands are 450 nautical miles apart, and they are situated one in the Ionian Sea and the other in the Aegean Sea, next to the Turkish coast. Kefalonia was attacked by the German troops on the 23rd September, Kos on the 3rd October. They suffered the same destiny 13 days after each other. In fact, the Italian garrisons yielded after 36 hours because there was lacking allied air and naval support. The Germans had modern equipment and armament, air domination, and adopted a perfect tactical maneuver. However, they maintained deplorable behavior during and after the fighting. In Kos, following the garrison's surrender, all the Italian army officers present in the island were captured and massed in Vittorio Egeo, a barracks 15 kilometers apart from the town. After a short interrogation, they were directed in small groups to a nearby harbor, thinking to be deported to a prison camp. Instead, along the path, they were killed by a machine gun hidden in the bushes in Aliki, near the salt plain. Afterwards, they were buried in mass graves in a near field. A year later, 8 pits with 66 bodies were found, of which only 42 were recognized through documents and personal items. The remains were placed in a common grave in the Catholic cemetery of Kos, and then moved to Bari in the World War II Overseas Military Ossuary. 37 bodies were never found. In 2015, a group of volunteers decided to go to the island and continue the research in the Aliki area, taking into account reports drawn up by people present at the exhumation of 1945. This is because initially 11 panels were detected with loose ground that hinted at the presence of mass graves, but at the time of excavation, traces of 3 of them were lost. The volunteer researchers, financially supported by benefactors with the authorization of the Greek Ministry of Antiquities and sustained by the municipality of Kos, in a week found a 9th mass grave from which many finds and a few human bones have emerged, and this one is one of them. The latter, examined at the Institute of paleoradiology in Trieste belonged to two young men of 26 years of age. The search was directed to the areas between the pits found and indicated in a sketch by an Italian army officer who participated in the exhumations. That sketch was superimposed on the area of the zone detected by Google Earth. To give a worthy burial to those remains, in 2017 a marble urn was built in the Catholic cemetery of Kos, on which the Greek jurist Lysias' sentence is engraved. Their memory will not age. To remind the Kos massacre, a shrine has been set up in the Catholic cemetery of Kos. It consists of a monumental tombstone built by the municipality of the island with the inscription in bronze letters offered by the Italian Aegean Veterans Association. The tombstone placed on the common grave in 1945 in the Catholic cemetery. The memory bell offered by the Latina province and its tolls resonate at every ceremony, and final the urn. Although some elders of the island direct the 37 missing body research to areas now modified by the growing development of the city, it is our belief that in Aliki there are two more mass graves to be found, as reported by documents preserved in the historical archive of the Italian Army General Staff. General Friedrich Wilhelm Müller, responsible for the massacre of the Italian army officers, was captured in Yugoslavia, handed over to the Greeks and sentenced to 6 capital punishment and 20 years in prison for all crimes committed during the occupation against the Greek people. Executed in Athens in 1947, his remains are in Rabendoza Cemetery of Athens. The Kos massacre remains unpunished because the Müller extradition's request was rejected by Germany as the officer's name did not correspond to the actual one. In 2023, the 80th anniversary of the massacre, a celebration will be held in Kos. A project of setting up a monument is under consideration in conjunction with the municipality of Kos. A fundraising could be launched soon. The monument could be placed in the Campo delle Fosse, the pits field. We still remember the words said at the inauguration of the monumental tombstone in 1996, which we repeat on every institutional occasion. We limit ourselves to praying that remorse touches the conscience of those responsible still alive, or of the children and grandchildren not unaware of insanity, to bow their heads and ask the Eternal what we cannot grant.
I touch you, we are alone. This time, the ghost of the past remain aside.